You would think kindness, wisdom, and emotional intelligence would protect someone from unhealthy environments. But surprisingly, those very qualities often become the reason people stay. Hope, empathy, loyalty, and the fear of hurting others can quietly trap even the strongest individuals. Today we are uncovering 5 powerful psychological forces that keep good people stuck in places that slowly drain their peace. And by the end of this message, you may recognize why leaving sometimes feels harder than staying. The hope trap. Hope is one of the most powerful forces in the human heart. Hope keeps people going during difficult times. Hope inspires perseverance. Hope encourages people to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. But hope can also become a trap. In toxic environments, hope often focuses on potential rather than reality. You begin to see what someone could be instead of who they consistently show themselves to be. You remember the good moments. You believe that if you just wait a little longer, support a little more, forgive one more time, things will finally change. But when change never comes, hope quietly transforms into delayed acceptance. Instead of accepting what is happening now, hope keeps the mind focused on what might happen someday. And this can keep people waiting for years. The empathy exploitation cycle. Empathy is a beautiful trait. It allows people to understand the struggles of others and extend compassion where judgment might otherwise appear. But in unhealthy environments, empathy can be exploited. People with strong empathy often excuse behaviors that should not be excused. They say, maybe they're just going through a hard time, they didn't mean it, I understand why they reacted that way. And while empathy can create understanding, it can also create unbalanced relationships. The empathetic person continues to give patience and emotional support, while the other person continues the same harmful patterns. Over time, empathy becomes the reason the toxic pattern continues. Not because the empathetic person is weak, but because they care deeply about others. Unfortunately, toxic environments often rely on this compassion to maintain control. Fear of being judged. Another powerful reason people stay too long is the fear of how others will interpret their decision to leave. People worry about what family will say, what friends will think, what society will assume. Sometimes they fear being labeled as selfish, disloyal, unforgiving, or impatient, but the truth is that people outside the situation rarely see the full picture. They may only see the surface. They may only know the version of events presented by others. And because of that, many individuals choose to remain silent about their struggles rather than face criticism or misunderstanding. This fear of judgment becomes another invisible chain keeping them in place. The identity attachment problem. One of the deepest psychological barriers to leaving is identity. Over time, people build their sense of self around certain roles. The loyal friend, the devoted partner, the dependable employee, the family peacemaker. These identities become part of how a person understands themselves. So when leaving becomes necessary, it can feel like losing a part of who they are. Even if the environment is unhealthy, the identity connected to that environment feels familiar and meaningful. Walking away means redefining oneself. And that process can feel uncertain and frightening. But sometimes growth requires the courage to release an identity that no longer reflects who you are becoming. The freedom after letting go. Although leaving difficult environments can be painful, it often leads to unexpected freedom. People who step away frequently report a sense of clarity returning to their lives. Energy begins to return. Creativity reawakens. Dreams that were once neglected slowly come back into focus. The silence after leaving a toxic situation can feel strange at first. But within that silence, many people rediscover something important: their own voice. They begin making decisions that align with their values rather than reacting to someone else's behavior. And for the first time in a long time, peace becomes possible again. Choosing environments that support growth. Life becomes healthier when we choose environments that support growth instead of suppressing it. Healthy environments encourage honesty. They allow people to express concerns without fear. They celebrate progress instead of resisting it. They respect boundaries. And most importantly, they value the people within them. When people surround themselves with these kinds of environments, loyalty becomes something beautiful again. Because it is no longer demanded or exploited. It is simply shared. If you have ever stayed too long in a difficult environment, remember this: it was not weakness that kept you there. It was hope. It was empathy. It was loyalty. It was the desire to believe the best in others. But growth sometimes requires recognizing when those qualities are no longer being respected. And when that moment arrives, choosing peace is not abandonment. It is wisdom. If this message resonated with you, take a moment today to reflect on your own environment. Are the spaces around you supporting your growth, or quietly draining your energy? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may encourage someone who is struggling with the same decision. And if you value thoughtful conversations about personal growth, emotional clarity, and living with purpose, subscribe and join this community. Because sometimes the most powerful step forward is the courage to let go.